Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Stories That Inspire Us. My name is Janice, your host of Stories, and today we have an amazing guest on. And just to let everyone know, I am also live streaming on the Wisdom Audio social app, so I want to welcome all of my listeners on there. And Gary, we were just kind of quickly chatting, as I'm going on live and hitting all the buttons, that you're obviously well versed with being doing multiple things at a time, aren't you?
Yes, I've definitely become a more of a pro with that. Exactly.
So I want to formally welcome you to the Stories podcast. And I just want to give our listeners and viewers a quick rundown. We don't hear much from single dads. And when I saw your guest registration, you had replied to a post. Of course, I do my usual vetting process, and it was so refreshing to, first of all, see it come from, stories from a male point of view on whatever you're going through, but you don't hear about single dads a lot. And you have, you're the dad of two teenagers. So you are very, very busy. And one of your children, is it okay if I say?
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, one of your children is autistic. So that brings, of course, different challenges for you. First of all, again, welcome. We are so excited that you are here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited too.
Wonderful. Now, being such a busy dad, let's start off with, what is a typical day like for you?
Well, I've had to learn, throughout the years that in order for me to perform my best, not only for myself and my day, but for my kids, is I need to get up earlier. So that means now that school's starting for my daughter and my son, that means getting up in the dark and getting my own personal routine done before they wake up. So, for me, that's doing some self-care things for myself. And then with that extra time before they get up, I can work on getting, whether it's their lunches ready or just getting things ready. It's just making time, because I know we don't have all this spare time, but you do have to make that time so you can get things done and have your best day possible.
And I love what you said about that. You set up yourself each day with a personal routine, and making time for that is vitally important, whether you're a single dad or whether you're a single mom, whatever the case may be. It's that important to make that time, because you are extremely busy with two teenagers in the household. Now, what exactly, I know that you're an author, and I know that you're a speaker, and I know a few other things, of course, but what exactly do you do for a living to support not only yourself, but your family?
Right. So I've been a personal fitness trainer since 2012, and I started at the YMCA doing that. And I was there for 2 years. And then I decided that I wanted to be an independent personal trainer. That way I can reach more people. I can have more control of my schedule and, spend more time with my kids and give my daughter Monica that extra attention and support that she needs. So that's been doing that for the longest time. And then working now on doing some one-on-one coaching and some online services to also help out our parents that are autism parents, and share some things that I've learned along the way.
And I imagine that with going through that daily routine, and you obviously saw something in the value of what you were doing for yourself, which translated into starting your own business, which I think is phenomenal. So not only, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, but you're taking care of business. And I want to belt out that song, but I would, not a good thing because I can't sing, but that's another story for another day. But you really truly are taking care of business in so many different ways.
Yes, I'm doing a much better job of that now. With that now, in the past when my daughter was first diagnosed with autism, that was not me. I was 20 pounds overweight at the time. I
Oh,
was
wow.
feeling very insecure about myself. And when my daughter was having these meltdowns where she would just start out of nowhere, screaming and attacking herself, I felt very guilty because at that time I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help her. And she couldn't talk at that time. So, I had to give myself a slap in the face. I had to have a 2 a.m. in the morning in the dark talk with myself that, you need to take better care of yourself, and you need to become, this is my analogy. I had to become an athlete for my daughter to have that commitment to take better care of myself. And also, so what that entailed was I had to learn. So I had to get self-discipline installed in myself. I had to learn how to exercise, doing stretches every single day. I had to learn how to eat better. I had to learn how to talk good to myself. And then I had to learn more about autism. And then in time, I actually learned how to stop these meltdowns.
Wow. So I feel like you were given this hefty blow, and in so many ways you took that as an extreme sign that, I need to get my shite together and be healthy for my children. And that must have been such an overwhelming feeling, because you're not only, as you mentioned, you, as a personal fitness trainer, you realize that, you're 20 pounds overweight, trying to take care of yourself, but you created a path for yourself, and you found, as you said, a way to communicate with your autistic daughter. And that must have taken, like, it just blows me away when I even think about it, because it must have been very stressful, but that being stressful and going through what you went through led you to communicate with your daughter.
Right. So that actually helped build the armor. Once I started to do those three things that I mentioned, just a few minutes ago, and then life started to get better. I started to love myself, and I started to share that energy with my daughter. And then I was so excited that then she did start to talk. So it was like game on, because now I'm learning what she likes to do. And we started to, on a daily basis, we started to sing, we started to swing, we started to talk about all her favorite movie scenes. And this became like the foundation of our day-to-day, I would say, her warm-up routine to prepare her for different places in life that she has to go to, like
Mhm.
school. So when all that started to happen right there, it's just I started to learn all those things about my daughter, and it all started to make sense because she started to repeat things. So I had to learn that we repeat things a lot over and over, and that just means this is something that I really like to do, or something that I really like to say. So my mentality changed, my thinking, and I started to copy all that because I wanted to learn from her. So I learned from her what was important to her, and then we just, we made that our own routine, and then we became best friends. And I just couldn't wait I couldn't wait until the next day, every single day. I couldn't wait till she woke up again, so we can repeat that process and do that, every single day. And you know, uh, it just made everything so much better to get healthier. And I was like, really, eating better, doing these stretching exercises, praising myself actually made me feel, in love with myself. I enjoyed my own company, and then sharing that with my daughter, it just brought out all this sunshine inside of her, because they can read you a lot. And what I've learned is taking action more is more important for them than like the words I say. So to go off of that, it's just like, um, besides the best friends part, that I learned how to do everything. I had enough energy to do all the things she wanted to do throughout the day, and that made her so, so happy.
I bet it did. And when you were describing when you made that connection with your daughter, your face lit up. Like there was something so fatherly, so like, oh my gosh, like now I can communicate on such a father-daughter level. Now, do you often find that communication, and that's extremely difficult for many people to get to that point. So you obviously learned so much in that transition. Now, I know that you're also a published author. Have you written about this experience? Have your writings been written about this experience with communicating with your daughter?
Yeah, so with that, the first book, because you planted the seed in my head, and it's been planting in my head that I'm going to have to revise that book and make another one for our progress. But the reason why I wanted to write the book was because I felt like if I don't share what I learned with others, then I'm doing a disservice to the world. So I wanted to share what I learned. So first of all, the book being wrote was a journey in itself, because at that time I didn't have a laptop. So what I had to do was I had to do 45-minute sessions at the libraries, not just a library, because I was dedicated and driven to write the book. So I would do 45 minutes at one location. That's what they allow you to do. Sometimes you get to renew that and get an extra 45, but then the other half of the time you're done. So I had to go to the next library. So let's just say I learned all the locations around my city and the surrounding areas, because I was determined to put out that book. So that's what it took. I was very, just obsessed for writing the book. And I just share, it's not a long book. It's basically kind of like a playbook of, here's some general history about autism. Here are some suggested or kind of the early intervention services that your child may go through, because it varies with every kid. So I kind of wanted to share what to expect when you're like a new autism parent, and what to learn that you're not alone. And then the star of the show, of course, is Monica. So we throw in a lot of stories in there so you can get to know her better, root for her, go through her ups and downs in life. And then also, I feel like that a lot of the stories in there, will resonate with other parents, to give them that hope that, hey, we're not alone. We can do this too. And then I had like some contributors in my book that kind of share different like therapies or what they do in their field, and it's all like natural ways to kind of help your child out. And that is pretty much the lump sum of it. And then I contribute in there too, also a little bit with the exercise piece. And then we just give like shout outs, and in memory, one of Monica's teachers we had for kindergarten, unfortunately she passed away like the following year, but this part will always stay with me. That summer that Monica graduated her class, and this was actually the second time we repeated kindergarten, because the first time was too hard. But this was her first teacher that turned a corner for Monica, that she can be able to stay in school a full day and actually enjoy it, because it was the support that she gave her. That summer, I don't know what the reason was, but I went to a place where I think they were doing yoga or something. I forgot who I was there for, but she walked out of the parking lot, this teacher, and this was the last time I saw her alive. And she said, I love all my students, but I just want to let you know that Monica is my favorite.
Oh, so being a teacher, for Monica's teacher, she obviously had such an influence on your daughter's life, where now she has a communication with her dad. She's in school learning and getting to enjoy it. So where is Monica today with her learning? Because I don't call it a disability. I call it the ability for her to learn in a different manner. where is she in her journey with school and what she wants to do?
Ooh, I like that last part because what she really wanted to do is she's going to be a 10th grader in 2 days. She's going to start. She has been wanting to go to the high school originally she was supposed to go to because she was at the middle school where those friends were going to go to that school. So I got it set up for her that I said, Monica, I want you to pick the high school you want to go to. And of course, she wants to go to that one. And we took a tour earlier this year because we couldn't make it in the first round because they're at capacity. But she she ran into some old friends and I kind of lit her up. Like you said, I kind of lit up earlier. It lit her up, but she was so smiles and so happy that whole day that it lasted for like weeks. And that was like the happiest I've seen her all year. And to me, in my head, I was like, well, we're home. And so she is ready to start at this school that she's been craving to go to. We met the teacher in advance because for us, it's about doing things in advance to prepare for your next transition. So, we met the teacher, the main teacher, reminded her of the teacher at that middle school because she's kind of like a very soft-spoken, very loving and genuine and authentic, and she can feel that energy, Monica, and she could feel the energy of the building. So it was a win-win. She's ready to go. Like I said, she can handle full day school. And she started out, it was a struggle for her in those early years. I would have to go in there and do play breaks for her. And we would have to leave school a lot early. I'll get the phone calls, but now, now she can be there full day and she likes to socialize more. So she likes to make friends now. So it started about 6th grade that she likes to talk and make friends in school. And then she likes to help the students that need a little extra help. Like if one of the students has the catheter thing that they have to wear to eat and get their food and drink, that way, or one of them's in a wheelchair or whatever, she likes to go the extra mile and help those kids out. And I think I can just kind of feel because she had some struggles early on, and I feel like that's her way to give back. And I'm just like, couldn't be more proud of her.
When you were describing that, I was getting the chills, and I'll tell you why. I see your daughter being so much like you, wanting to help, wanting to go that extra mile, wanting to be productive in ways that maybe she didn't realize. And I'm sure for Monica, that must be like such a good feeling for her. And you, as the dad, seeing your daughter be elated by being such an integral part of those other children's lives as well.
Yeah, well, she's a true teacher for me, like she broke me out of my shell. Like, I'm an introvert and I may not sound like that on this interview, but I would never want to talk to anybody, be on video, none of that. But when I knew Monica needed this extra help, and at the beginning, I didn't know how to do that, but then I learned I had to change. And the only way to help her was if I made changes. And I just seen that, I see how hard she works. Like she started out scared to walk on earth because of the uneven surfaces, because she has sensory difficulties too. She couldn't look at you, to talk to you. So I learned that a lot of these things, these traits in the beginning, you got to respect it. When it's their time that they may feel comfortable, then it's their time. It's their pace. It's no race for me. And so that's kind of how we've taken it. I've just watched her throughout the years just work so hard, going from not knowing how to write, not knowing how to draw, to now drawing beautiful pictures, to now she was getting 100% on her spelling test, to now being able to read pretty close to her grade level, but she writes beautifully and she like spaces out her words. She writes stories. And what I love about her is that we live in a pretend play world. And that's kind of like our warm up. Like we have to talk about these favorite movies, these video clips that gets her going, that lights her up like a Christmas tree. And then we move on to what we have to do with our daily life skills.
What is one of Monica's favorite movies?
Right now, she's watching Cinderella out there in the front room. The first one, very specific, Cinderella, 1950, and we're watching the DVD. But you got to also remember she has the VHS too. So she wants you to know all those pieces.
Wow. And of course, I used to watch that Cinderella. That brings me back to an amazing time, right? Now, I want to transition over a little bit to talking about how you've integrated what you've learned with your children and specifically your daughter to your business, because I know that you coach parents. How does that conversation start out? Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like for a parent, another parent, or a set of parents, whatever it may be, coming to you for advice. Like, how does all that work?
Sure. So I want to go one step back and then come right back to
Okay.
this. So, when I began my personal training adventure, originally, like, we're coming out of like, yo, man, oh my gosh, I want to work with athletes. And that was me too. We all want to work with athletes. Little did I know, when you go and do your internship, externship, whichever one it's called, and you have to go to a location to do that before you finish your schooling, they said, okay, here's the schedule, take all the group classes you want. So I took all the hard classes, the very demanding ones on your body, like just very hard classes, physical, because I used to be an athlete. So I took those, but then I took them all. It's like, I want to find out what all these classes do and how they make you feel. I took silver sneakers, which is for older adults. And that changed my mentality because I love the atmosphere. I love how these people came in there happy. They'll come in there on their walkers, whatever they had, their oxygen tanks, and they were ready to have fun. And the instructor was the same. She was like a very fun person too. So that just made the culture so fun. And I love learning like these different exercises that aren't hard on your body, but you can do them every single day, which is what those people come in for, to stay active, to keep going in life, to be independent as long as they can. And I just love that because I learned how to use a ball and some just a band and a chair to do exercises, working the same body parts. So that changed me to want to work with those people. And then shortly after that, I transitioned a little bit where now I work with autistic people, and I have clients that is kind of a little bit in the same boat where we need a little, we can't go onto the big machines or any of that stuff yet. We need to start out with some, like perhaps a ball or something, and just start basically, and start where you're at. So that's what that's what I do now with my personal fitness training. Is I still have a couple of older clients from how I started, but now I just want to work only with autistic people, because what I've learned is, and my daughter sometimes goes with me on some of my sessions, is that it's fun. Like, our warm up isn't a traditional, okay, let's do this and this and this exercise. Is sometimes we walk around the gym 3 times and we're just talking. That's like the warm up to listen to all the exciting things in their life, to get them start the conversation. And then we transition it into our exercises. So it makes it real fun. With the parents, that was me. Where I wasn't taking very good care of myself. And now that I see what the results have done for me and how it's helped my life with my family, I want to give back. So I want to share again. And I know we were talking earlier that, it can be overwhelming with our schedules, because we have a very unique schedule. I can speak on that. But my program, my one-on-one coaching, and then when I start to add services to that online, it's simple. It's like, basically, a lot of these will require no gym equipment. It's just like, I'm going to show you how to do this, and let's just start with one thing. That way you can get confident and build that momentum, and we just go right there, just start.
Wow. I love how you were describing, your initial indoctrination, if you will, into personal fitness and, wanting to work with the athletes. I kind of felt that way too when I became a certified personal trainer, and then eventually a certified health coach. And I just, into the bodybuilding and want to work with all these different people. But what I loved was working with people who were in my respectable age bracket. I guess I'm qualified for silver sneakers now, just saying, but I wasn't back then. But point being that when we undertake to do something that we love to do and we want to share it and we're spontaneous and we just want to do it all, you were able to kind of redirect that because you ended up working with older individuals who are involved with silver sneakers, and then of course start your transition or adding that, you know, you wanted to work with autistic children, teenagers, and their parents. And going back to your journey being that parent, I am sure obviously there must been so many questions for you as a coach, but as a parent as well.
Yeah, so one way that it's really fun with my daughter for her to exercise, because I don't want to be I don't like to be the one who like tries to push things on people. I want people to do what they want, explore and find their passion and their purpose. So for my daughter, we started with, she loves these different movies, these different scenes. And one thing I've learned, because I like to watch a lot of autistic adults themselves, and a lot of women who are autistic, to learn from them. And I've learned from one of them that a lot of girls and women, they get obsessed with these Disney movies, because sometimes they can get emotionally attached to them, and they want to be that person. And this girl in the room right here, my daughter, Monica, she's in love with the Cinderella parts. And I've noticed sometimes it's like the soap opera parts. So like for maybe some mainstream people, they like watching Guiding Light, General Hospital type soap operas. But for my daughter, it's the soap opera parts in those Disney movies that we watch. But then she wants to know, well, how do I learn how to fight and beat evil, like the evil characters in the movie? I want to learn how to move this and this. So years ago, I just said, I was like, okay, light bulb, we're going to use the movies to put our exercise in there. It's not even like she feels like she's exercising. It's like we'll do a scene of a movie and we'll add exercise to it where you don't even, it doesn't even feel like it is, but she's getting exercise. And for that reason, she's the healthiest she's ever been right now, all of us in the family. And one step further is we also had to use that with eating. Like, a lot of autistic people are picky eaters. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot are. And sometimes, it's a sensory thing. And for my daughter, it was a sensory thing. So we were stuck on chicken nuggets for a very long time. I was like, how do I open the door up? So I was like, okay, a banana's yellow and Alice from Alice in Wonderland has yellow hair. And I was like, Monica, I'm going to eat this yellow banana for Alice because I want her to keep that beautiful blonde hair forever. And shortly after that, she said, me too. So that was a milestone where we went from just chicken nuggets town, and a little bit of celery town. And she took that first bite of a new food. And from then on, it's been game on. Now she eats an apple for this Disney character. She eats a piece of celery for this Disney character. We have this smoothie for all these characters. And it's just fun to learn from, me learning from my daughter and others that I work with, to hear their stories and to use that strength that's very important to them, to add what we need to add to help them out with what they may need help with.
Wow. Now I have a very specific question.
Mhm.
Who is Monica's favorite evil person? Obviously you said that she's like hooked on Cinderella right now. Does she have a favorite evil person or character?
There's a few. Think of one of the biggest ones. Give me a second, because sometimes it changes every day. We'll say Queen of Hearts, because we beat Queen of Hearts yesterday at the playground.
Gotcha. And has Monica started talking long term? Like, what does she want to be when she grows up? Like, does she have, any indication on what she might want to further do in life once she gets out of school?
Yeah, so we started to explore that a couple years ago. And during that time, she was really into dolls and making her own clothes for her dolls. So it was a little bit of that. We did get on a pause for a little bit because my friend that was helping her, that actually does sewing and has her own business, makes some girl clothes, is actually, we're doing some classes for her. My friend did have to take a leave of absence. She had to leave the state and some family things, and now that she's coming back, we'll start to get back into that. So she likes to make clothes for dolls. Sometimes she changes her mind where we go to a favorite store and she's just like, I want to work here. So it kind of varies a little bit, but I do like to put in that bug. Sometimes I just check in. Hey, Monica, would you still like to have the sewing class, or there's something else that you would like to do? So I check in with her. So right now it's a little bit of, how do we sew? And she's really into the sequence things that you can rub. It's very relaxing and therapeutic for her. And she likes the sequence where it's on the front of her shirt. So she may want to learn from one of our respite providers that watches her, because she actually sews and has made her a shirt before, that she may want to do her own sequence designs and make some shirts.
Wow. Gary, and first of all, I want to say welcome to all of our listeners on the Wisdom Audio app. Gary, what do you think is one of the most important things that a parent could do for their child that is autistic? Maybe they've just been diagnosed, and I'm sure that's weighing heavy on their hearts. What would be a suggestion for you in general on what they should do?
Well, I know for me, I was in panic mode at the beginning because I felt helpless and a lot of things. That's how I was feeling in the very beginning. But then I started to learn that it's about patience, understanding, and I think the key word for me would be acceptance. Like, okay, this is who we are. We like to do things a little bit different. So for me, it'd be the acceptance, and then just to kind of like learn, like to kind of observe, the things that they like to do, so you can make that connection with them. Because for me, it was like I started to learn what she liked to do, and there was like so many things, like the list goes on. But in those younger days, it was like lining up cars forever. We went from lining up cars to getting big cardboard boxes and cutting them so they were big and on the ground, and there were streets. And we would just evolve. Like, she wanted to not only line up her cars, but hey, I want traffic lights. Hey, I want to write these street names. Hey, I want to draw stores on there. So we would get markers and draw the road she wanted and put traffic lights on. So for me, it's just acceptance, learn, and you're going to be their best support. The parents, hands down, is the best. You're the best for your child. So it's just, you spend more time with them, just have that patience and understanding and that acceptance part. Like, okay, this is who we are. This is what we like. Game on. Let's learn it, and let's be shoulder to shoulder with them in their journey, so they can see the world is not a scary place, and that they can live it the way they want to. The world has to adjust to us. It's not set up for autistic people, but I feel like I'm the advocate, us the parents, to teach others. This is who we are. We're a little bit different. Here's how we like to rock and roll, and we have to get that out there, because autism is there's going to be more people diagnosed globally. So it's time to start to fill in the gaps for the world and embrace and unite people together.
And I feel on so many different levels, from a personal level, from a parent level, from an advocate level, you are filling in the gaps. And I think that is just so amazing. What is one thing that you want for yourself? You had mentioned redoing your book or updating it. Where do you see that going?
That's probably going to be down the road. I think something that I'm going to do to evolve myself and to test the introvert is to start a podcast. And I see it as wanting to reach out to a lot of the parents that I know on social media, where they do a great job sharing their world, really informing us of what, how it goes, these sunshine moments, these dark cloud moments. But I want them to reach more people so people can really understand our community, so we could all be one community. And I think I've gotten from a couple of people that, hey man, you need to start your own podcast. And I think I just want to go simple and start out with parents and just kind of get them to share their story. So that's going to be a project coming soon.
Wow.
Going to work on.
I just want to say, I know somebody that is an ace and she hosts 3 different podcasts, just saying. I think
cool.
it's fantastic and I'm so excited for you. Do you have a name for your podcast? Have you even thought about that?
No, I don't have a name. I don't have details right now, but it's on my goals. It's something that I want to do. So I have it written down. I have it in my calendar. So I'm gonna start looking into that actually this month. This month is when I put it down. So I have some friends that have podcasts. So I'll be reaching out to people like you to maybe get some tips so I can just start. I don't want to get complicated because that's just not how I'm going to do. I just want to find one platform that I can use and just get started. Everything else, or just figure it out as I go.
Yeah, keep it, simplicity at it as its best, because as you said, you are a busy dad, single dad to 2 amazing children. And I just want to thank everyone on Wisdom, all of our listeners there. And Gary, if it's okay for you, we have a little bit time left. If anybody on Wisdom has a question that they might want to ask you, is that all right with you?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Okay, so my Wisdom listeners, thank you again so much for being here. Does anyone have any questions? We can take one person to come up on stage and ask a question of Gary. We'll give it just a minute or so. I know that sometimes when I first started out on this app, I was like a little shy. I know that's kind of hard to understand, but yes, I love it.
Yeah.
But I think that it's so exciting that you want to take your passion, share it to the world with a podcast. And I just see so many amazing things happening for you. Definitely simplicity, to help you navigate through that, because I obviously love what I do. Starting the Stories That Inspire Us podcast is my 3rd podcast. And I just want to share that, we all know that one of the main reasons why I started Stories was I wanted to provide a platform for people to share their stories in such a way that honors their journey, that maybe they don't have another outlet. And I see your outlet, and wanting to do that is going to be off the charts. So it's going to be amazing. I know it for sure.
Yeah, appreciate you. Appreciate all you do. And another thing for me to speak to an audience like this, it's also therapeutic for me. So I just love how it feels. So I think I have that passion about this to go for it, to make up for the experience I don't have. I get that experience as I go, just like in the beginning of being an autism parent, you learn as you go, and you don't give up. If you love it, you're going to stay with it.
Learn as you go, yet you're learning as you grow, and inspiring others to do the same. Gary, your story today inspires me, and I know it will inspire others. I can't thank you enough for being in this space to share your very personal journey and your daughter's as well. I hope you definitely will consider coming on again, because I would love to have you back on the podcast.
Part 2 sounds good. Thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So folks, I want to share with you something really important. I know that somebody listening will be so inspired by Gary's story, and let that be your motivation to share your story, share your journey, because these truly are the stories that inspire us. And today I was certainly inspired again by Gary's story. I obviously had the honor and privilege of meeting Gary for our pre-podcast chat. And, now he's got a podcast on his horizon, and I can't wait to see where that's going to take him. I want to thank everybody on Wisdom. Thank you again all so much for being here, for listening in, for partaking in wisdom in such a way, and let this be your motivation to start your journey. My name is Janice, the host of Stories That Inspire Us, and I'm going to sign off on Wisdom and then do my sign off on Facebook. Thank you all so much for being here today. Bye for now. Hey, everyone. Just want to say thank you again to Gary for being here. Can't wait to see what is going to happen with his podcast. I promise I will keep you all apprised. This has been an amazing conversation. Again, you have a story to share. You have a passion. You have a journey. Others need to hear it. This upcoming Wednesday, August 17th, is my son, Ryan Scott's 35th birthday. As you all know, I was inspired by my son's story, further inspired by the amazing Gary Martinez Jr. These are the stories that inspire us. Bye for now, everyone. We'll see you soon.